So this one is about bringing back the Sanhedrin. I'm reading woke, white, Christian, liberal, social justice books on the legal system, right? Reformation. They're calling it restorative justice. It's the wokiest. Watch it. Good boy. Dog's still kicking, by the way. Wokiest, limp-wristedest nonsense. Can try to keep this video kosher for Facebook. That I've read in a very long time. It's very much the globalists are transforming society through academia. So, the so-called conservative Christians, yeah, they're not fighting everything technically their Bible tells them to. Like the LGBTQ agenda. There's an agenda that's being implemented. Oh, well, Jesus says love your enemy. Bah! And that bleeds into their approach to law enforcement. Now, as I'm reading this, I'm in a Discord, and these things are, correlating with each other. So, in the school's material, they had how advances in technology are going to help law enforcement. They're very intrusive and blah, 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 blah. They also discussed bionics, which is the replacement of human parts with mechanical parts, right? Oh, police are going to have, implants? They're going to have upgrades? It's kind of cool. I'm sure there's going to be some pretty bad, we'll just call them mistrial experiences on the road to progress. Anyway. So, while I'm in that Discord, this guy who owns a server, he's a Christian, and he's white, or so he expresses online. For all I know, it could be an FBI agent or a black woman or something. But I had a VC he was in, and he definitely sounds like, oh, I'm white and Christian. And he loves marijuana. Now, he blames the Jews for all the problems he causes himself with marijuana. It's really funny. He says the Jews are behind porn, for example, but he posted a video that was pornographic without age restricting it. And he even says in the title, Jewish Freemason Leonard Cohen, blah, blah, blah. So, what? You're saying the Jews are behind porn, but then you're posting porn? I can only assume the marijuana makes them this stupid. Or the Christianity. I don't know which is the cause and which is the effect. Either way, it's just really dumb. In the Sanhedrin, people like this would have been executed. And not just the Sanhedrin. In communist countries and nationalist socialism. The Action T4 initiative, right? People with this sort of mental incapacity for proper mental functions would have been sterilized and euthanized to cleanse the gene pool of disordered genes that produce this sort of mental diarrhea and thus pollute society. So, to test my theory, as I'm always not one to just make vague generalizing statements without some sort of efficacy applied. To falsify my own statement, along with applying some of the other ecology I'm learning in school to social media, he posted marijuana gifts to trigger me. And I decided to play along, like, oh, right, he thinks he's controlling my behavior, so I'm going to let him think he's doing that, and in the meantime, I'm going to open up another account under a different name and enter the same Discord server, and I'm going to apply some psychology here. I'm going to, it's difficult for me, but I used words like or acronyms like LOL, TTYL, ONG, FR, for real. On go, nigga. Almost said it, but I didn't. And that approach hilariously worked much more effectively than the intelligent approach. So the intelligent approach was direct, right? I articulated my points very well on and cited all my sources with evidence on how marijuana is destructive and harmful, and there's dangers, psychosis, homicide, suicides, etc. It was like their brains lacked the mental capacity to absorb the thoughts. Right? It was like trying to charge a 9-volt AA battery with like a 50 amp car jumper. I'm dead serious. So, from the alternative account, they were like, I was like, oh my god, what's up with the guy with the, the gore? Because I started posting gore in response, images of drug dealers murdered by, moral citizens. And more, like images of literally drug dealers murdered by people whose families and lives were destroyed by them. Because like the United States, the government isn't helping. But in Brazil, they did snipe a drug dealer. Never happened in the United States. American, from the white Christianity is like, oh no, you poor oppressed minority. I'm so sorry I have to arrest you. Are these handcuffs too tight? Are they hurting your wrists? It's like the British model, right? Which was the white Christianity, like, origin, right? Northern Europe, that came to America, that founded the Constitution. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is systemic racism that I have to not let you commit rape and murder and robbery and assault. I have to arrest you. You're so oppressed. You poor minority. I'm so sorry. Please forgive my white privilege. And this is the thinking they're teaching us in that course, and they throw in end the war on marijuana. And you have this white Christian who's complaining about all these things and then supporting marijuana. Like, he can't comprehend. He can't even draw the connection. The words can leave my mouth and they will enter his ears, but they don't reach the brain. Like, marijuana get you bad? No. Yeah, so if we bought back the Sanhedrin... Alright, yeah, before I get to that, so from the alternative account, instead of accurately articulating my points in, multi-syllabic vernacular, I simply said, marijuana is cringe TBH. And these, drug-addicted losers on the internet who are in this Discord server, like the guy who owns it, etc. Now, this account that I did that through was an anonymous account. No profile picture, no, the name was Peter. So they didn't know it was me. And I knew that if I used the same language, if I used the big fancy words, they'd be like, oh, it's that smart guy. Ah. So I had to dumb it down to blend in like a chameleon, right? To fit in with the morons. It worked. They wanted my approval and my friendship. Oh, we got a new guy in the server. Oh, yeah. And so I was manipulating them. Very minimal effort. Because they have such low intelligence. Because of their marijuana use. They're just easy to manipulate. They practically manipulate themselves, and all they need is a little tug in the right direction. I can see how, if it's true, the FBI, etc., has an easy time making manufacturing domestic terrorists out of stoners. If it's true. Don't arrest me, FBI. I said if. Anyway, I'm going to get to violin, but if we brought back the Sanhedrin, and we started implementing capital punishment for this sort of degeneracy. Oh, and the funny thing is technically Christianity is also supposed to That he who corrupts the little children, better he should be drowned with the millstone around their neck. Yeah, this white, psychologically neutered by marijuana junkie is like, well, I don't agree this should be taken literally. Of course you don't. You're showing kids porn. You don't want to be drowned with a millstone around your neck. Like, you just want to keep smoking weed and pornography for kids. Like, bring back the Sanhedrin.